Debt, fear, relationships, the children, your health, work. When you want to give up and you need courage to continue, take heart and stay tuned as RJ Jackson writes her signature message of hope on your heart. You don't have to live where you're dying, and you don't have to die where you're living. Like every show of Conversations on Courage, you'll be informed, inspired, and encouraged to find the courage you need to succeed at home, work, and in your business. Get your pen and paper. You'll want to take notes. And now, your host, RJ Jackson, the Courage Giver.
Hey now, happy Tuesday, and welcome back to the table. You know, it almost seems as if we've never left because people are still talking about the conversation from last week with blended family expert Joe Hallbaker and our author of the week, Dwayne Castle. You talk about authentic, down-to-earth conversation. Well, we had one last week, as in every week. And let me just remind you, today is no exception. We got lots for you to talk about today. I know you're going to be talking after hearing Angela Denise of AngelaDenise.com share with you from her book, What in the Hell Are We Doing? Oh, yes, I'm telling you, you're going to want to talk about it. And of course, we have 60 seconds of something amazing with leadership expert John Bentley. And today, hold on, wait a minute. Today, we going to put some RJ in it. That's right. Yours truly will be rocking the mic today. So you want to stick around. You want to make sure you subscribe, because this is how not only will you get notifications, but this is how you get to put your 2 cents in. And let me tell you, your 2 cents here on Conversations on Courage, it's priceless. So we want to hear from you. Make sure you subscribe. If you're not already following us on Facebook at Girl, I'm working on it too. Head on over to Facebook. Girl, I'm working on it too. And join a community of women who, like you, are working on it too. We're just excited that you're here today. And I can't wait not only to tell you about me, I'm going to be talking about you today. Because I want to remind you how amazingly awesome you are. I want to remind you that there's greatness inside of you. So stick around. We got some good stuff in store for you because you deserve the best. And once again, welcome to the table here on the Conversations on Courage podcast. I'm honored to be your host, RJ Jackson, the Courage Giver. We're going to go ahead and bring our guests to the table. I think it's just time we go ahead and start talking to Angela Denise. But first, here's 60 seconds of something amazing with leadership expert John Bentley.
Today's quote is from Brittany Renee. I would much rather have regrets about not doing what people said than regretting not doing what my heart led me to and wondering what life would have been like if I'd just been myself. You see, it's much easier to follow in someone else's footsteps, but believing in yourself and making your own choices can be daunting at times. It is, though, an important part of the learning and growing process. I want you to think about this. Mistakes are teachers, and the victories for overcoming those mistakes are windfalls. You see, you'll experience true celebration only when you live your life through your own heart and mind. When you start being yourself, you will start to grow, and you will no longer have regrets by being what someone else wants you to be. So here's 3 tips for learning to be yourself. 1, determine if you are doing what is right for you. 2, ask yourself, if I do this, can I and will I pat myself on the back when it is completed? And 3, just allow yourself to be who you are rather than what others think you should be. I'm John Bentley. You can stay connected with me at power2transform.com. That's www.power2transform.com for more amazing motivation.
Stay tuned. Coming up next, RJ brings her special guest to the table for more authentic and down-to-earth conversations on courage.
And now, let's join transformational coach and author of Ladies, What in the Hell Are We Doing? Best-selling author Angela Denise in the Author's Corner of Conversations on Courage. Angela, welcome to the table.
So let's talk about what is it that we are doing as women that we constantly find ourselves in these unhealthy relationships.
Hi, RJ, and thank you so much for having me. Hello, everyone. So really, what we're doing is we're moving too fast because of something that we really, really want, in our lives, and we are jumping on the first train that's riding through instead of waiting, instead of preparing ourselves, instead of using our time to be single. We are just jumping on the first man that we see that we think that's Mr. Right, and we're going with it, and we're staying in relationships, too long. We're wasting our time. A lot of times it may just be for a season, and we try to keep a relationship for a lifetime. And we're just trying to just move too fast, and we really take our time and really need to make sure that we love ourselves for who we are and get to know who we are first before we jump into any relationship.
So your book is about dating tips. Let's talk about dating and what that really looks like, what it really means, and give us some tips so that we can have healthy relationships while we're dating.
Well, some of the tips, that I talk about is, like, when you're in a relationship, is really looking for, signs that that person is, the right person or the wrong person for you. Sometimes, as women, we push things under the rug. We may see signs that, he could be verbally abusive, physically abusive, or he could just, not be the right person that's not really respecting us for who we are. So, some of the tips and the signs that I give is basically just letting women know, watch out, if he's, receiving, phone calls, or he's receiving, text messages, and you talk to him, before about it, and it continues to happen, then something is not right. We have to make sure that we are really getting the respect that we deserve. And a lot of times we do, as women, we push it under the rug and we say, okay, well, he said he's not going to do it, or, that was just this time. And we continue to see the same signs over and over again, where we need to really stop, look for those signs, adhere to those signs, and listen to our intuition and what it's really saying to us. Because sometimes we just want a man so bad that we dismiss everything. We dismiss that he may be cheating. We dismiss that he may be, abusive. We dismiss a lot, and we need to really stop doing that. We need to make sure that he is respecting us, and we also need to make sure that he's the right person for us.
You not only give dating tips as a relational coach, but you share your own personal story in your book. Tell us your story.
Absolutely. I have a story where, I was in a relationship, at a time, and, sometimes I was one, that moved too fast, and, sometimes you're too young, and sometimes you need to wait a little bit and focus on yourself and not really jump into a relationship. And so I jumped, and I was like, okay, ready, and I held on. And at that time, I don't think either one of us was ready for a full-fledged relationship, not a long marriage, and then plus kids as well, too. I didn't take that time out to really, focus on me and to be, single within myself and get to know who I was and really love who I was. I jumped into a relationship, and then after that, right into a marriage. And basically what happened, you get married, you think, okay, it's good, and that's life, ever after, and it's really not reality for you. That doesn't really, happen like that. There's so much more that goes into it. A lot of times we think that love is enough, and it's not. There's so many things that go into a relationship. There's so many trials and tribulations that you go through, and sometimes you're not able to, push forward or don't have the willpower or capacity to push forward, and neither does your partner as well, too, because sometimes you may be in love with that person and maybe even know that that's the right person for you, but because you're so young and not sure exactly where you're supposed to be, exactly where you need to be, and don't have that willpower, that faith, to move forward, then you fail. And it's like having, as parents sometimes, we have teenagers that think they know everything. So when you get married and you're young, you think you know everything. And a lot of times that's what happens, to you, and then you end up falling. So that's what happened. Got married young, had kids young, didn't take the time to really, get to know who I was, get to know myself. Same thing, for my spouse as well, too. Neither one of us got the time to really enjoy who we were, to really elevate ourselves as individuals, jump into a relationship, jump into a marriage, and then things start falling apart. Even if you think everything is forever, sometimes in situations it's not. And we really took a back seat where he was like, okay, well, I didn't have a chance to have fun. I didn't have a chance to have my own place. I didn't have a chance to do this and do that. And I'm looking like, okay, well, what's going on? I'm in this thing forever, but when you have another partner that's not, then you're stuck to really realizing, where is this going and where should I go? Should this end or should this continue to go and you be miserable? And then you have to think about the kids. So should we have them in this situation? And you just really have to think about, where you are and what moves you should make. And ultimately, we ended up divorced because I didn't really want to have my kids in a negative situation and parents arguing all the time and not happy and not talking and not communicating. What environment are they growing up in if they're in that situation? So I think when we look back on it now, because we're really good friends, we look back on it now, we were too young. At 19 and 20, that is very young to really, get married and have kids, and you may think that you know everything, but in reality, at that age, you don't. You definitely need to have God first, because there's so many enemies that's out there. The devil is always, acting and around and walking around trying to mess you up and stumble you and whichever. And you need to really make sure that you have everything in place, that you need, mentors, a couple of, that has done it for 20 and 30 and 40 years to really guide you, because you cannot know it all. You cannot be in it all by yourself and think you know everything, because if you do, 9 times out of 10, it will crumble. When you're young, 9 times out of 10, it will crumble, because a lot of times so many things happen, within a relationship. It's tested so many times, and if you really had somebody to really tell you that those tests were going to come, it could have worked. But not having that stability and thinking that you know everything, in my personal experience, it failed.
So you took your experience, you wrote a quick guide for women to find their voice, as well as discover their self-worth. What was your inspiration for your title?
My inspiration was just, my experiences, also, listening to some other friends as well too, and just watching and listening, and that title just really just came to me because I was really thinking, what are we doing? Women, what in the hell are we doing letting men, use us and disrespect us and things. And then I looked at situation because I was even in the situation that, I was married and it was infidelity as well too. And then you look at, you have other women that are going after your husband, your man, or whichever. And then, even the way that they're, treated, I'm like, women, like, what are we doing? We're not even respecting each other. We're not even respecting people's union. We're not respecting ourselves. I mean, what is going on? Really, what's going on? And that's where the title came from.
And so what's your final word of suggestion left that you would like to leave for women so that they can use their voice in their relationships and discover their self-worth?
Yeah, my suggestion is, number one, love yourself. Find out who you are as a person and really get to know who you are. Then, get to know, the other person, within a relationship. If you're already in a relationship, still get the chance to really know you. You should always have time to yourself. You should always, get to know who you are as a person, and don't lose yourself in any relationship. Sometimes we take so much time making somebody else happy that we forget ourselves, and we don't even make ourselves happy. So definitely making sure that you are not, being disrespected in a relationship, that you understand what your value in a relationship is, what your value is within yourself personally, and just love yourself. Because if you love yourself, when situations happen and you're actually, maybe in an abusive relationship as far as, because it can be verbal as well too, or, your spouse or significant other is, cheating, just a number of things, you won't continue to allow that stuff to happen because you'll have that strength within yourself to make a decision and move on, or, do what you have to do to correct or make the relationship better. So I think the main core to that is loving yourself and really know who you are as a person so that you can stand strong within yourself and keep on moving forward.
Angela Denise, relationship coach, the author of Ladies, What in the Hell Are We Doing? Thank you so much for joining us. Please tell us how we can connect with you to purchase your book.
Oh, absolutely. So the book is definitely on Amazon.com, under my author's page, which is Angela Denise Cormier. And you can find the book within there as an ebook, or you can get a hard copy as well, too.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Angela, for joining us here on Conversations on Courage. It's been amazingly awesome having you as our guest in our Author's Corner this week. Have a great day, and thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Do you have a strategy plan for your life? Is your plan outdated or collecting dust as life passes you by? It's time to stop winging it and contact Angela Denise, your certified life coach. Angela is waiting to help you develop a strategic life plan to get your life back on track. Be the best you can be with strategies. Contact Angela today at www.askangeladenise.com. You're listening to Conversations on Courage with your host, RJ Jackson, the Courage Giver. Quick, call your friends and invite them to listen in.
So I'm honored today to be interviewed by Miss Vanessa Peters. We thought it would be a great idea to just share with you who is the woman behind the mic. That would be me, RJ Jackson, also known as the Courage Giver. RJ Jackson. RJ Jackson. So now if you're ready, let's get started. R.J. Jackson. R.J. Jackson.
Who is R.J. Jackson, the courage giver?
That's a great question, you know. I like ask myself that every single day. What was the question?
Who is R.J. Jackson, the courage giver?
So who is R.J. Jackson? Well, you have to know where I came from to know who I am. I am the product of William and Rhoda Jackson. I am a woman with passion for people. I love God and I love his people and I love to see people win. I am your cheerleader. I am your master encourager. I'm a mentor. I'm an advocate. I'm a courage, confidence, and vision booster. I am a lot of things to a lot of people. In my roles, I'm a mother, a grandmother, and my kids actually call me Sweetie. They don't call me Grandma. Do you know, one day when my granddaughter was in kindergarten, she came home from school and she said, "Sweetie, are you my grandmother?" I was like, "Who told you that?" She's like, "My teacher said you're my grandmother." I said, "Oh, really? Well, your teacher and I, we gonna have a parent-teacher conference because ain't nobody tell her to tell you that." She had never known me for anything except for Sweetie because they never called me Grandma. So that day she discovered I am her grandma. And every now and then when my granddaughters try to be funny, they say, "You're the best grandma." I'm like, "Okay, say it again." I'm gonna show you another side of grandma. I am a mother, I'm a grandmother. I have 3 beautiful grandchildren. My oldest granddaughter is in college. My youngest grandson, well, King Noah, he's yet to go into kindergarten. I am a sister, I'm a friend, I'm an auntie. I have lots of titles, lots of roles that I play, lots of hats I wear. Yeah, I have lots of roles. But the roles mean nothing because you take them away, and that's when you find out who the real RJ is, from the inside out. And I am compassionate, I'm grateful, I am forgiving. Well, maybe I better think about that one. I'm broken. The truth is, I'm a hot mess. A hot mess. That's who I am, Miss Vanessa. What else you want to know?
You're an international speaker, a 3-time best-selling author, and a coach, a mentor, and a podcaster.
And a podcaster. That's what we doing right now, huh? We podcasting. Hey, we podcasting.
Which role do you want to be remembered for the most?
Okay, and what was your question? Since you know all that about me, what was your question?
Which role do you want to be remembered for the most?
Which role do I want to be remembered for the most? The international speaker, the author, the podcaster, the mentor, or the what?
Coach.
Or the coach. I don't want to be remembered for any of my roles. Because tomorrow they could change. I want to be remembered not for what I've done, but who I am. I want to be remembered for how I made you feel. I want to be remembered because I was there when you needed somebody. I want to be remembered because I accepted you for who you are. I want to be remembered because I cared. After all, Maya Angelou said it best. People don't care how much you know. They want to know how much you care. I want to be remembered for the one when you were about to quit and give up, who walked alongside of you, helped give you success strategies, inspirational information that helped cause transformation in your situation. Yeah, that's what I want to be remembered for. How I made you feel beautiful, loved, and valued. Can you remember me for that?
Yeah.
Miss Vanessa?
I sure can.
Have I ever, let me ask the question. This is my podcast. Why you asking questions? I'm supposed to be asking the question, so let me ask the question. Have I ever made you feel important, special, anything?
Yes.
Girl, the people can't hear you. Oh, let me make her feel special. Hold on. Sweetheart, can you speak up a little bit so that they can hear you?
Yes, you have.
Really? How so?
Well,
She got courage, y'all. She's got courage.
I understand that on June 24th in Buffalo, New York, and July 9th in Moreno Valley, they celebrate R.J. Jackson Day. What is R.J. Jackson Day significant for?
So, yes, it's true. On June 24th, they celebrate R.J. Jackson Day in Buffalo, New York, and July 9th is actually our Learning is Fun Day, which was our children's radio program that my son and I did for Latchkey Children. So we were honored for our radio broadcast. And R.J. Jackson Day is in honor of me. Once I left Buffalo, I went back to serve my community and work with teen girls, as well as with my elementary school. And so the councilman, to my surprise, named that day R.J. Jackson Day. Now, honestly, for me, it's really a reminder that there are 365 days of the year. And yeah, I got 2 days named after me, but so what? There are 363 more days, and there's work to be done. There are people who are dying to live, who need to know that their life matters. There are women who need to be inspired, who need to be encouraged to live their best life, to live life on purpose. There are teen girls who need to be rescued from human trafficking. There's life happening. So those 2 days are really just a reminder for me that life is still happening, and there are more days to do more, to be more. And don't get caught up in what you've accomplished. Get caught up in your purpose. And so that's, from my heart, what those 2 days represent. They represent the fact that I have more work to do, that I have more lives to touch, not just 2 days worth. That was a great question, by the way. Thanks for asking. She said you're welcome. I got to translate for her. But you know what? She may not be talking really loud, but she has the courage to do this, right? So there you go.
Let's talk about the C words, courage and confidence. What is courage, and how does courage and confidence play a role in running a business or being an entrepreneur?
Well, courage and confidence, yes, they are the C words, because you have to see who you are from the inside out. So it takes courage to do that. And what is courage? Courage is actually being afraid, but going anyhow. It's stepping beyond your fear. It's living life on the other side of fear. And it takes confidence to do that. So they go hand in hand. You got to have courage to step out, but you have to have confidence to believe that you're worthy of stepping out. It's knowing your value. So when you have confidence, you have a belief in who you are, who God created you to be. Now, the second part of your question was, how does that play a role in our lives as business owners and entrepreneurs? That's a great question too. As business owners, number one, you got to have the courage to have your own business. That means you have to be able to think outside the box. You got to do things that may not be comfortable. You got to get out of your comfort zone. And again, those things are scary. They're scary. Don't let anybody tell you they're not scary. They are scary. But courage says, they're scary, but my purpose says go anyhow. My passion says go anyhow. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to step out with courage, and I'm going to go anyhow. And as you're going, you're afraid, you're shaking, you're like, what's people going to think? Sometimes that attacks your self-worth. And you're like, well, maybe I'm not good enough. Or if someone says, well, it could be done better, you're probably like, oh, I knew I shouldn't have done it. That's when confidence comes in. And what is confidence? Confidence is a knowing. It's not a belief that says maybe. It's a belief that says I know who I am. You can rock the boat, but the boat won't sink. When people are like, well, I don't know if you could do that, your confidence might be rocked. So yeah, you might rock the boat. But when you know who you are, it's not going to go down. You are not going to sink. So that's how confidence and courage relate to entrepreneurs, business owners, mothers, sisters, no matter what you're doing. Confidence and courage are required. No matter who you are, courage and confidence are required. And as the courage giver, that's what I'm here to do. Help you push beyond your fear and live out of your greatness and have the courage to take a risk with confidence so that you can live life on the other side of fear. Your questions, girl, are amazing. What else you want to know? Taking over my job as a podcaster.
What words of courage would you like to leave with our audience as a reminder of their greatness, as well as inspire them to flex their courage muscle and fight?
Flex that muscle, baby. Yeah, yeah. Words of courage. Number one, be encouraged. Life happens, but there is life after life happens. And no matter what you're going through, remember that key word, through. You're not going to always be there. Haven't always been there, and you won't always be there. The key is having the courage to journey through the journey. You see, life isn't what happens when you get to where you're going. Life is what happens as you're getting there. It's in the journey. So I just want to encourage you to remember that you don't have to live where you're dying. And you certainly don't have to die where you're living. There's life after life happens. And no matter what, God loves you. He's not mad at you. Oh, no. He's madly in love with you. And he knows the plans that he has for you. They are plans for a future and plans for a hope. I'm not sure where you're living right now, but if you're living with fear, it's time to move, because there is life on the other side of fear. But courage is required. So if you need help in taking a risk with confidence, hey, let's have a conversation, an intentional conversation on courage.
So, last question.
Last question.
What is your favorite movie and why?
Hey, I like that question. What's my favorite movie and why? So I often tell people, man, I haven't been to the movie since Lion King. You lying, RJ. Okay, yeah, I went to see Mary Poppins. Just a spoonful of sugar and the medicine goes down. Okay, but that's not my favorite movie. Far from it. I don't like musicals. But my favorite all-time movie, like seriously all-time movie, is Mrs. Doubtfire. I know, but I promise you, that's my favorite movie. Let me tell you why. And don't judge me. No, judge me if you want to. I don't care. Don't judge me. Mrs. Doubtfire is my favorite movie because it shows a father doing whatever it takes to be with his kids. And I grew up a daddy's girl. I love my daddy. And my daddy loved me. I mean, we had a healthy relationship up until the day he died. And that movie, Mrs. Doubtfire, it totally rocked my world, watching that dad just do whatever it took to be with his children. I wish we had more Mrs. Doubtfires in the world. Like, not get dressed up like a woman or nothing, but you know what I'm saying. Love their children like that, like, and really just do whatever they can to take care of their kids. So yeah, that was it. Still it. Mrs. Doubtfire, my favorite all-time movie. And you, my friend, are my favorite all-time person. And I'm so honored that you would spend this time with us here on Conversations on Courage. And I want to say thank you to Miss Vanessa, who had the courage to help us out today. It was her ideas for me to be interviewed, and so I want to say thank you to her. Thank you, Miss Vanessa. She don't talk now. She don't ask her question. Now she ain't got nothing else to say. Thank you, Miss Vanessa.
You're welcome.
Muchas gracias.
De nada.
Oh, you guys speak Spanish to her. I did not know. Okay. And thank you for being the most valuable part of Conversations on Courage. Hey, I'll be here again next week. We have special guests coming up next week, and I invite you to join us as we bring to you more authentic inspiration that causes transformation in your situation. In the meantime, if you're looking for someone to speak to your church, group, or organization, a women's conference, or a retreat, I want to invite you to give me a call. Let's have a conversation on courage. Let me see how I can bless you and support you and help your audience know and feel that they matter and how special they are. Let's have a conversation on courage. Until next week, bye for now.
Thank you for joining us for Conversations on Courage. Now that you've been inspired, informed, and encouraged, it's time for you to take action. So head on over to thecouragegiver.com. That's thecouragegiver.com and connect with RJ for a personal conversation on courage. She's waiting to help you take the risk you need to succeed.